Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Mariana. I'm owner of Mexico Relocation Guide. And today I have Roberto Castellanos, Director of Novamar Insurance in Mexico, and Sabrina Godinez, Business Manager. Thank you guys so much for being here. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Mariana. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us here.
First of all, if you guys don't know anything about Novamar Insurance, they are a leader in the expat community, people looking to move to Mexico. If that is you, you are in the right place because they are a leader for insurance options in Mexico. But don't just take it from me, take it from their thousands of customers that are happy with the results that Novamar has been providing. And I would love for you guys to tell people who Novamar is.
Thank you, Mariana. We are so proud to help many people that they are moving to Mexico. And yes, we are an international insurance broker with operations in the US and Mexico. In the US, we have operations in cities like San Diego, Seattle, Newport Beach, California, and in the East Coast, in Florida and North Carolina. In Mexico, we have our headquarters in Puerto Vallarta. Also, we have offices in Cancun, Los Cabos, San Miguel de Allende, and Mexico City. As an insurance brokerage firm, we are aimed to help people to preserve their properties and their investments in Mexico against all the risks that they are included in the insurance policies. So we have designed different programs to help them. We are not the regular insurance agent that is selling the policies from the insurance company. So we have negotiated after more than 38 years in the market with insurance companies, the programs that we have created for our clients. So we work with different insurance companies depending the line of insurance that we have for automobile, for health, for yacht insurance, for home insurance, for travel, for medical tourism, or in commercial lines with the homeowners associations, more than 140 HOAs that they are working with us right now, helping them and consulting them and let them know what's the best way to preserve their investments in Mexico. And Sabrina Godinez, she is the business manager. She's in charge of to have all these lines in the right way, in the right direction with the group of executives that we have in the company.
Thank you, Mariana. Yes, I would like to add that I'm proud to work with Roberto Castellanos for the past 8 years and with the team of 17 executives, each in charge of each department. We have a person in charge of the auto, of the boat, of the home, the health, and the travel. So thank you for having us here.
Yeah, thank you guys. Now, for anybody wondering, because there's people who might be living outside any one of these cities that you just mentioned, does that mean that Novamar can only help customers in those specific cities? What if somebody's living, for example, in Querétaro or San Miguel de Allende? Would Novamar be able to help them out?
Yes, in Mexico, let me start with this. In Mexico, as a difference with the US and Canada, we have an insurance market that works in federal basis. That means that there is only one Department of Insurance for the whole country. So if you are licensed in Mexico as an insurance agent, an insurance broker, you can help and assist your clients in all over the Mexico, all the territory. But it's important to know where you are really specializing, in which specific, either could be the region or the type of industry or services that you are really working all the time. So we in Novamar, since we started the company in Mexico, we started to go deeply into the expat community. Personally, I have been working more than 34 years in the insurance market in Mexico, in the US, and also that helps to the company to understand both sides of the border. And not just talking about me, I mean, all the executives in Novamar, bilingual staff with insurance experience. My business partner, the president of Novamar, Craig Chamberlain, also have more than 38 years with this point of view from the American point of view to help other expats in Mexico. So all this came together. We have created this philosophy to work the expats from the expats point of view as well. So it's important to know that to better service the clients, you must be licensed. You must be inside of what the insurance department requires, because that provides confidence. So we are an insurance broker licensed in both sides of the border. In Mexico, the difference when you are working with a person, with a company that has been licensed and has all the registration that are necessary to provide the coverage, the policies to the clients, it's a peace of mind, because right now there are many people in Mexico that they are selling. And that's the difference. It's different to be a salesman than to be really an insurance advisor, a legal insurance advisor. So there are people that they are selling policies like can be, selling any other product, selling real estate or selling shares or selling, whatever is a way of making money. We are not selling policies in that way. So we are legally advisory and we are regulated by the Department of Insurance. That also gives a peace of mind. So when the people they are working with a licensed insurance broker, they know that we have, in our case, for example, we have our E&O policy. We are regulated by the Department of Insurance because we also are an insurance brokers corporation. In Mexico, you can find an insurance agent as a person and an insurance agent as a corporation. Like we call it persona moral or persona física. So we know Novamar, we are treated as an insurance broker corporation, which means a lot of paperwork that we have to fulfill all the time with the Department of Insurance, because we have to follow the compliance that they require from us. Same as Marsh, Aon, all these big names that they are in many countries. Well, we are in 2 countries and we are regulated the same way. So those compliance really provides the peace of mind to our clients that we must to always follow the rules and must to do the right things for our clients. It's not like I will be selling these policies and then the next year, hey, where is this guy? Oh, now he went back to live to another place, and what about my policies? No, I mean, we have been doing this for 38 years and we will be doing this for many more as a corporation. So that's why it's important to have the license. And also we belong to the Insurance Brokers Association of Mexico, also to the Pan American Insurance Brokers Associations. We have an active participation in the board of these associations. So we are normally learning what's going on in the market in different countries, what's going on in the market in the US, obviously in Mexico, and participating with the authorities and pushing the things that they have not been doing in the right way as we think. For example, in the homeowners policies, we started like 12 years ago to include the vacation rental coverage. Because many of our clients, when they buy a property in Mexico, they rent it. Now, is maybe 80% of the people that they are buying properties in Mexico, they are renting those properties. But we were the first one that we created that coverage inside of our standard homeowners policy to have the rental vacation coverage. So after many years, then the insurance companies say, oh, by the way, you must to have the Airbnb coverage. Some of them, they call it that. Well, guess what? We already had it before. Or for example, for the homeowners association, the D&O policy, the directors and officers. Because to be a member of the board of the homeowners association, which is a voluntary step that people, when they are buying a property in Mexico and they are coming to Mexico to have a peace of mind and, rest, be by the, spend the day by the pool or the beach, or, I mean, it's really to have a wellness time. Well, some of them, they decided to be more active and they are part of the board. So what are really the responsibilities now they have being members as a member of the board of the homeowners association? That's a big responsibility. In Mexico, didn't exist the D&O policy. Well, we created that coverage in Mexico along with an insurance company, and now there are more companies that also they are providing that coverage. It's just one example that we have been doing in the expat community. We will continue, learning what is the experience that the people they have, and trying to be a step ahead of them by creating new programs.
Yeah, and having your your sister company or your alliance, right, with the United States also gives people a lot of confidence, right, that you're not just like what we call a fly-by-night company that doesn't have any backup resources in Mexico, and if they go under, so does your coverage, right? And
Right.
everything that you've invested in it by that way. So
Or some people, they say, well, I am an insurance agent licensed in the US and I'm selling policies in Mexico. Well,
mhm,
that is not legal. That is
mhm.
not legal. You must have a Mexican insurance license in order to sell uh, and do the location the for the Mexican insurance policies and also international insurance policies, because some people, they are in Mexico selling policies from international companies, but they are in Mexico. So that is not legal. The legal way to do it is to be licensed in Mexico, and then being licensed in Mexico, you can have access to the Mexican insurance companies. Even if that policy doesn't exist in Mexico, we have access to the international companies. But there is always one way to do it, and it's the right way to do it.
So what can happen to somebody if they end up hiring? I'm just thinking like ahead for a customer. You brought up a really good point, getting insurance for maybe somebody who doesn't actually have permission to sell it. What can happen to them in when they try to make a claim? Does the customer suffer for that, or is it only the broker that can get in trouble?
That both they can be in the interpretation from the authorities, because the salesperson, I'm not talking about the broker because it's a really a salesperson. That person can be in a problem with problems with authority, because the non-admitted insurance is penalized in Mexico, and if the client wants to claim that policy in Mexico, and if that policy is not registered in Mexico, or at least getting through an licensed insurance agent, there will be a situation right there that can be really a potential problem. So it's always better to go in the licensed way. We in Novamar, we work with international companies as well, but we made our request first to the Mexican authorities if we were allowed to provide those policies, because those coverage and those policies were not available in Mexico to provide the coverage for expat people or for American people in Mexico. So that's why it's important to know what's going inside of the legal frame.
Now, what are some benefits, like if somebody's shopping around for different, through different insurance companies or different insurance, contacts that they've been getting, right, as recommendations? What is the benefit of working with Novamar?
We have an in-house claims department that will guide our clients on how to proceed with each insurance company. So let's say that you have an auto claim and it's a total loss, and you must follow up with the insurance company and deliver documents that maybe you don't understand what they are, or you don't even know how they look. We have someone taking care of that person and guiding them through the claim. I think that's the most important department in our office. But then also, as Roberto mentioned a minute ago, we do have staff that's bilingual that can help you understand what you're going to buy, understand the limits, the coverages of the policy, and exactly what you need while deciding on what product you want to go with. It could be an auto or a health policy or a home policy. We're able to help you with that.
We have been also executives and directors of the insurance companies in Mexico and the United States. So we are not just an insurance agent that has been selling policies all the time. Also, we have been inside the other side of the street, inside of the insurance companies. So what is that advantage? That we know what they want, the insurance company. We know that dealing with an insurance company is dealing with persons, with people. So to have the right connections inside of the insurance company, or to do the homework for them in order to facilitate the placement of a policy, or to resolve a claim, or to negotiate a coverage or benefit, is always for us easier, because we know what's going on inside of the insurance company. And also that we are not selling policies for one company. Some people, they say, oh, I'm selling policies for this company, and just for one company, because that company is going to give them big conventions, big bonus, more commissions because you are so loyal with this company. And they sometimes introduce themselves as, well, I'm selling this or this or this. So we work with more than 17 insurance companies, and that changes. We have for example, like 10 years ago, we used to be very active with AXA, when AXA was with the appetite to provide coverage for the expat community, for the beachfront risks. But there was a moment that AXA said, no more. And that's fine. The insurance companies, they changes their appetite because of the experiences that they have, or sometimes because they change the director in Miami, or they change the director in Europe, and the new director say, okay, no, we're not going to provide this in Latin America. So they make those changes. So we have to be ready to go and do the placement with other companies. By working with Novamar, we always provide more than one quote for our clients. For homes, we have, because we have our program, we are checking that we have always the best programs. But for our automobile, for boats, for yachts, for travel, for health, with different scenarios, we have always different options. We are not trying to introduce and sell just one company. It's really to find the solution. And we are always looking for new companies, and also the companies, they are talking to us and saying, we want to work with you guys. And we'll say, well, if you comply with all the requirements that we have for our clients, we can work with you. It's not just like that. Companies based in Mexico, companies based in the United States, and also in London. We are also in communication with the reinsurance market in London to find or to resolve the situation that we have in our programs for our clients in Mexico.
I want to go back to something that both of you mentioned that I think a customer might not realize, and why I think it's beneficial to work with a company that knows what they're doing, especially when you're trying to get a claim through, right? When you're trying to either get reimbursed or you're trying to seek medical attention and have the least amount of surprises at the hospital as possible, which is very different how that works in Mexico versus the United States, right? So I would love to kind of unpack that a little more. Like, for example, Sabrina mentioned that you guys have an in-house claims department. Is it common for other companies to not have their claims department in-house? And if so, how does that affect the customer? Because the customer is ultimately the one that would probably suffer from that.
Some brokers, they have it, and I'm not talking about the big national or international brokers. They have their own claims department, but you're now talking with brokers that they specialize mainly in commercial lines, property and casualty, industry companies, that they are looking for accounts like Walmart or Liverpool in Mexico. So those brokers,
big groups.
Right? So those are the brokers that they have their inside claims department, and also some others they have health claims department, but that's mainly because they are working with big companies. For example, in Guadalajara, that they have clients with let's say a group policy of 120 or 100 employees. So for that health group policy, they provide that service, but not from the individual basis. So we are in exactly where the big brokers, they are looking at okay, I'm not going to do these individual policies, and the other national brokers, yes, but we are going to better to work in finding other clients, like medium-sized companies with 100 employees, 150 employees, more fabrics or industrials. And that's when we found that the expats were just really without any expertise help, just by provided by the traditional policies. In traditional policies, they are not the best way for them. Even that everybody says, no, yes, my insurance agent speaks English. Good. I mean, there are now thousands of people in Puerto Vallarta, Acapulco, Huatulco, Oaxaca, Cancun, that they speak English. And now to speak English is not really a big benefit. It's a standard. It's a must that you should have. Know about insurance, get experience in insurance, know exactly what you're talking about, have the right connections, and also to have the willing to help. It's not just like, I'm an insurance agent and I'm going to to get for you the best policy. Give me your information. They go to the insurance company, they get the quote from the insurance company, say, okay, here is your policy. I mean, that's a salesman, and that's great. I think many insurance agents, they are very well known because they're a very good salesperson. But this is not about the salesperson. We started the company from the advisory point of view, from the risk management point of view, to be very, very honest. If you don't qualify for a health policy because of the age we have or for the pre-existing conditions, we try to find always another solution for you. It's not like we are not going to say, well, yeah, you buy this policy and hope that you will be covered. No, because it's our reputation. We will be always here. All of us, we have families and we love our families. And we always think that the best way to work is really to help our clients to have their dreams come true always. And not just to come to keeping come true, because there is a big responsibility when we are talking with expats, obviously as well with Mexicans, but also we believe that when the expats they have the confidence to come to Mexico and they are now investing in Mexico. Also, they provide a lot of works and labor for Mexicans as well. So we understand that the social responsibility to be very serious in this business and to help this community that is very demanding, and we understand that also because when the American people you say tomorrow must be tomorrow. The mañana is mañana. So that's a big responsibility we take it very serious.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people who might assume, right, that all insurance companies or all insurance brokers are created equal, they are not. And I've heard a lot of horror stories of people who really trusted their salesperson, but that salesperson was a salesperson. They took their commission above what you actually needed. And when it came to you actually needing to make a claim, maybe you bought insurance for your home and then something happened to your home and you didn't know that it didn't cover you for this specific thing because nobody explained it to you. It's important for you to have somebody who's going to explain your benefits to you, what you're actually signing up for. And I think that's where Novamar is 100% a leader in this. Somebody who's going to actually put you first, right? Like themselves, they are going to give you, like Roberto said, advice on which policy benefits you the most based on your lifestyle, your specific situation. And like you said, Roberto, just assess your risk for you.
Absolutely, and thank you. There are companies that they are contacting us to see what we think about their products before they launch it. Today, in fact, I had a meeting this morning with a company that is creating a health product for expat community, and they say, okay, Novamar, what do you think about it? And we say, we are going to tell you exactly what the expat community needs. Know what you need to sell. They need this, and this, and this, and this, and then if you make that in those points inside of your policy, that will be a benefit for them. Because for salespeople, it's very hard to say no. So we are saying no to companies that they want us to sell their policies, only if they really provide a benefit for our clients.
Yeah, which is huge. It's huge because it's easy to want to get commissioned, right, or get paid by somebody who wants you to sell their policies for them. But if they don't have a good reputation, in the end, you're the one that's going to have to pay for that with your reputation. So I would love to just know, for somebody who is maybe thinking of moving to Mexico, what kind of coverage does the newcomer, right? I'm a newbie. I just moved here. What kind of coverage do you recommend for me if I'm thinking of buying a house? Maybe I'm thinking of buying a car. What are the minimum requirements that you think somebody should have when they move to Mexico?
So I think the majority of the clients, when they come to Mexico, the first thing that they worry about is themselves, right? So maybe it's going to depend if they're going to be here a short-term stay, just because they're going to first get to know the city, and maybe they're only going to come 3 months, 6 months, maybe they can start with they should start with a travel policy. If they're not able to find one at home that makes them feel comfortable, they can always come to their insurance agent and buy a travel policy through them. We recommend the ones that are Mexican insurance companies, just because they have direct payment to the hospital versus an offshore company. So I think that's the most important one. Once they're ready and they say, okay, I like Puerto Vallarta, I'm going to move there within 6 months, I'm going to buy a home, an auto, and then I need to look into my health expenses, then we can talk about a health policy, a long-term, that would cover any medical major illness, like a certain disease, and that we call a health policy, versus the first one I mentioned, that it's a travel policy for a short term that would only cover an accident while being in Mexico. For the home, it's going to depend on if they buy a condo or if they buy a standalone, if they buy a front beach property. And for that, we would advise you on coverages, what to buy, maybe what not to buy, because you don't want to be overinsured. And then last but not least, the auto policies, that will depend on the type of vehicle you're going to purchase. Yeah, so I think those are the three most important products. But then there are some people that maybe are going to come in a boat and they're going to be staying at the marina. We can guide you on what the law requires for you within insurance, subject for the boat. So I think that's a pretty general idea of each of the products. I don't know, Roberto, if you want to add anything.
No, I think that's absolutely right. The people, some of them, they are planning to invest in Mexico just for coming maybe in the winter time, that is good weather for them. So they are planning to rent their properties in Mexico while they are not here. So we must to know first, what is the expectations that they have with that property, or if they are going to be driving in Mexico, they are going to garage the vehicle for certain months, or they are going to be cruising with the boats from one port to another port, or they are going to go through Mexico to other countries. So first, we understand exactly what the client wants, and we are so proud to say that we have clients that they have been with us since day zero. More than 12 years in Mexico with Novamar, many years in Novamar Insurance in the U.S. So which also is a great benefit for them, because Novamar Insurance in the U.S. has been for many years. Craig Chapman, the president of Novamar, has been helping Americans in many cities. So they know about Novamar in the U.S. and they know that there's a great company with a very good recognition in the insurance market. So they also have that confidence. So when they come to Mexico, they say, I'm going to talk with an expert. So sometimes they are just cruising in Mexico with their boats, and then they realize that they would like to buy a property, or they rent an apartment in a condominium, and then they realize they want to buy a condo. And some of them, they like to build like huge residence in Punta Mita or in Los Cabos, in other places. So we are with them in those cases. And also, I would like to mention that we also provide information in a periodical basis to our clients. We have a newsletter, we have blogs where we are just putting information. We know that what are the most frequent questions that we receive in the office. So that's the way that we create our blogs, we create our newsletter. In fact, this week we are going to work in the very specific point, which is the inflation versus devaluation. Because right now the inflation in Mexican pesos is 8-9%, and the devaluation of the dollar in Mexico. Some people that are saying, well, I'm insured in $1 million. Well, guess what? There's pesos now that there used to be before. And when we are talking about the replacement value for buildings, for dwellings, are in Mexican pesos. The market value is in dollars, but the replacement cost is in pesos. So to inform our clients about those things and how we are going to adjust the policy, because we don't want to have surprises. For us, the best testimonial is, I had this loss and the insurance company paid me exactly what I needed in what's inside of my policy. And in in a fast track. Really, that's our challenge all the time. But we are all the time informed about these concepts, and we inform our clients. For example, if the labor law in Mexico changes or there is an update, well, that's good. That means that you are going to be, you must have a different liability limit in your automobile policy, in your homeowners policy, because in case of an accident or a person that is killed by a car or by any other situation, well, the law will require you to pay a certain amount of money. So it's better that you have that money in your policy. We don't have to have that money just in your wallet. I mean, the wallet is fine, but it's better to have an insurance policy and to have the insurance company paying all those amounts that are covered in your contract, of course.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to cover that because I don't think a lot of people realize, especially people driving to Mexico, they don't realize that their Canadian and their US policies, auto policies, are not valid in Mexico. So it is highly advisable that you get a Mexican auto insurance policy, but two, you're legally mandated to have a Mexican auto policy insurance. So your USA and your Canadian auto policy is not good in Mexico. It is not valid. You will not be able to make a claim. And when it comes down to it, if you are found at fault when you have an accident, which hopefully that never happens to you, but if the authorities determine that it is your fault and you are not covered, you can get in serious trouble, which some of our customers have. And they found out the very, very hard way that that they didn't know this, and it's very scary. So what can you add to that?
And that is very important to know that you can use your policy. Some people, they say, well, I have this coverage, but I don't want to use my policy because I don't want to have for the next year to have a higher premium. That doesn't happen in Mexico. So we always say, use your policy and let us help you to use your policy. For example, there is a legal advice inside of the liability coverage for homeowners, for the automobile, for the HOAs, for the condominiums policy. So use those. If you have any situation, any legal situation that you think that could be a problem, call us, and we are going to first talk to you, see what the situation is, and if we need to call the lawyers from the insurance company to start helping you, that service is inside of the policy. That doesn't cost you anymore. But some people, because in the US is different, but in Mexico is not going to have a higher premium next year because you have 1, 2, or 3 losses. I mean, we are coming to the rainy season. Our claims are going to start going up, and we are ready. We are prepared to receive them, to manage all of them. And then by November, December, starting going down a little bit. So we know that, and we encourage our clients to use their policy. But it's not only that. We think that the better policy is the policy that you are using to get in those advices and to get in the services that are included in the policy. The most important is that you don't have the loss. I mean, that's the best. The idea is to have a house with no losses. So we also send some advices to our clients. For example, for the houses they are in the beachfront, we recommend them to change the hose from the refrigerator, from the water filter, from the toilet. Changes at least once a year, and they're going to start having no problems with the water leaking. There are some advices that we provide to them because we know what are the most current losses that we have had with our clients in the past. So it's most really also to be with a risk management point of view. Like it's amazing, incredible, because you can see how the condominiums, when they have the joints and the tile, sometimes they don't feel it, and you have the water going through another condominium, and then guess what? The other condominium is going to have along with your situation. Well, it's just to review those little things, and because we have learned that in the past, and we are so glad that our clients and the company said that our loss history in Novamar is really very good, because our clients, they don't have too many claims.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that if you make a claim with your insurance policy in Mexico, you don't automatically get penalized for it the following year, which is huge in the
No,
United States. And a lot of
I
people
know.
don't. If you get into an accident and it's not that big, you might try to deal with it on the spot with the person. You might just be like, hey, maybe we can
Uh,
just agree to, I pay you $100, 200, 500, whatever.
And by
So
other
that I
hand, some
don't
people.
have to make a claim, right? But that's not, I didn't know that that wasn't the case in Mexico. That's huge for people to know.
And by other hand, some people they think that they have health policy in Mexico and it's going to work the same way that in the United States or Canada or in Europe. They say, "Give me the card. I want to see the doctor." Well, it doesn't work in that way in Mexico. There
Yeah.
are programs that you can have your card and go to the doctor, but those are not the regular health policies in Mexico. There are some policies that provide those services.
So what can people expect when they sign up with you guys? By the way, what I love about Novamar and what I love about your website is I can easily go on there, get a quote. I love the modern service that you guys provide, which, again, for a lot of people, if you haven't moved to Mexico yet, you will soon find out that a lot of things are not as modernized as you're probably used to in the United States or Canada. We're catching up, but it's not by leaps and bounds. And I love that Novamar is very modern in that respect, that they can easily go on there, get a quote, do a lot of the things that people are used to without having to necessarily get on the phone with somebody. But once they do decide that they want to take the next step, what can they expect when they work with you guys?
Well, the first thing is that they're going to get a person that's going to be helping them and guiding them on any questions that they could have, that maybe they went into the website and they're like, well, I don't understand, or I don't know what this coverage means. And we have a chat, so they can leave a message in our chat and someone will reply immediately, or they can pick up the phone and call us. And I think the most important thing to mention that they're going to get somebody that's very professional and that really likes what they do. So this helps our client and to get the immediate service, reply within 24 hours to their email, reply to their phone call. And I think that's the most important thing that we offer to our clients, being very professional and very serious on what we do.
And fast response times, like quick, which is something that maybe culturally, right? A lot of people, I'm sure, are coming with that time is money mentality. So that's nice to know.
And then sometimes clients will ask, will it take 5 Mexican minutes or will it take 5 normal minutes? Because they're just used to that things in Mexico can go a bit slower. And especially if they're in an area where it's, near the beach, they think the clock doesn't really exist. But no, we keep it really professional. We try to get to you as soon as possible, at least within the same day, at the most the next day. And we're really honest, maybe we submitted your health policy and we have to wait for the insurance company to deliver it to us, and we will let you know this can take from 3 to 5 business days for us to receive. And then once we receive, we just don't send the policy, we review the policy, we make sure that everything that you told us is correct and in your contract in black and white. I think that's, like I said, just being very professional at what we do.
And also, we are looking always to make the life easier for our clients when they are talking about insurance, because when they say, okay, the insurance terms are very technical, so well, we are working all the time to make the life easier with normal words when we are talking about insurance. In order to do that, we created our online platform, where that means our website, where the people they can buy a policy. 24 hours, 365 days per year, for automobile, Mexican plates or U.S. plates or Canadian plates, that we call them the tourist auto policies, the typical Mexican insurance the policies, for either both Mexican license plates or foreign license plates. For a condominium, for a house up to $3 million, they can buy the policy right there. The coverage is automatic. We also have the negotiation to provide the hurricane coverage even inside of the hurricane season. The hurricane season in Mexico goes from May 15th to November 30th in the Pacific coast, and from June 1st to November 30th in the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Well, if you go to our website, if you want to buy a policy, a homeowners policy, you can buy it right there. Okay, so it's for homes, it's for automobile. Also, we have it for yachts, for boats. We have it for travel. We have the health. For health, it's not automatically that you can buy it right there because health needs more information. But the application is very, very easy to fill in the website. And then our executive, because we have a different departments with different executives specialized in each one of the departments. All of them, they are working with Sabrina, and we are working together as a family. And our IT department, the systems department, they are always trying to find the best way. For example, now the people, they are receiving an email and they can renew their policy just by a click in the email. So it's and the more and more people that say thank you, I can do it right there. We don't hold the credit card for our clients because of security reasons. Some clients, they say, well, you have my credit card. No, we don't have your credit card. You just need to give the credit card information. When you click right there, boom, and the policy is automatically renewed. So we are coming with more and more ways to facilitate that part, and obviously always with the human point. I mean, we are in the insurtech, we are in the technology all the time, but there is always a person behind the computer in Novamar. So if you say, well, I don't understand this, I don't get it, or I have many questions, I want to, pick up the phone, call Novamar, and one of us is going to be there with them. There is always the human touch in Novamar. But for the people that they love technology, right there is in more and more clients, thousands of clients, they buy policies in our website.
Wonderful. Yeah, at least they have a choice. They have a choice whether they can, if somebody doesn't need to talk to anybody, they understand what they're getting, they can do it directly online. But if they need more help and they need guidance, and they have that choice too.
Right, absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you both because you've taught me so much already, and I'm sure that people are watching this are going to learn a couple of really good tips from today's conversation. So thank you first for being, so helpful to so many people. Not only have I heard great things from some of our customers, but I've heard great things from people in the community that you guys are amazing. So, which insurance is one of those topics, right, that usually doesn't get like a really good pat on the back because it can be complicated, but I always hear that Novamar is just amazing. So it's really good to talk to you, both of you.
Thank you very much, Mariana. It's a pleasure to do it here. In the name of Craig Chamberlain, the president of Novamar Insurance Group, and the rest of the family, Sabrina, we really thank you for having us.